As long as Nigerians are in IDP, all of us are in IDP. I will not allow, and I know that you will not allow it, for any Nigerian to remain in IDP while we're sleeping in our mansions. Never. They must go back. You're a leader. Don't go away when Bayelsa is under the water. Don't leave Jigawa to die. Don't say, oh, I cannot go to Southern Kaduna because there's a problem. We will show compassion. We will lead from the front. We're not going to walk away. And for me, Borno is part of Nigeria. I don't want to say people, oh, the region is insecure. Nigeria is insecure. Like I told the IDP people in Christmas, I spent my IDP with IDP people in Makurdi in Christmas. And in New Year was another IDP camp in Abuja. And I said to them, as long as Nigerians are in IDP, all of us are in IDP. I will not allow, and I know that you will not allow it, for any Nigerian to remain in IDP while we're sleeping in our mansions. Never. They must go back. The ethnic tension you see today is based and as a result of injustice, unfairness, exclusion, marginalization. As soon as you start reversing that, they start going down. That is what I said to young man about agitation.
Please hold on. Don't forget to click on your subscribe button. Thank you.
As long as you start doing the right things, as long as you start building an inclusive society where people's talent, hard work will match up their opportunity, you start seeing those things go down. There's tension, even in the Western world here. I live here when the blacks feel excluded. But as the more the government opens up and tolerates and builds an inclusive, transparent, more broad-based, acceptable, they will come down. And we will show, I've said before, we will show compassion. On issue of challenges and dealing with them, the challenges you foresee, I've dealt with such challenges at the Anambra level. And I'll show you the same challenges. We're not going to, as long as you're not involved in this transnational governance, you can deal with anybody. And we're not going to compromise. We have an issue, I said, we're at an existential threat that we don't need to. There's nobody, there's no sacred cow. You either be a Nigerian or you can find another country. We have a country with the rule of law. It will be the same level playing field for everybody. I want to solve the problem. For example, I said it without equivocation. I must pull out the poverty that is devastating the north. The vast land in the north is far more in terms of assets and source of revenue generation and exports for Nigeria than the oil. It's very simple. And I give you an example of one state that I use every day. Niger State is 76,000 square kilometers. Precisely 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. 7 local governments in that state is under control of bandits. I've tried to interview them because they have no job. They have nothing and everything. Niger State is 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. And Netherlands agricultural export last year was $120 billion. Why can't Niger State do 5% of that? They have arable land. And all they get from the revenue, from the sharing, which is the consumption, is less than 50 billion naira. When they have minus their debts and everything. If they earn 6% or 5% of that, it's $6 billion. At 650, it's about 4 trillion. 80 times what they get from here. We will change it.
Thank you and welcome back, all obedient movements all over the world. You know, it is good for us to be hearing from Peter Obi often. And this is what I have to say in this particular video. You know, when you have a leader who have a heart of compassion, who carries people along, who knows that everybody is equal when it comes to rule of law, that everybody is equal when it comes to governance. Somebody who knows that we all are all created equal, whether we are rich or either we are poor. That we just need to find a balancing in our society. It baffles me how people live in an IDP camp in a country they all owns. Is that making sense? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know about you. Let me just take for an instance. It's like you being a tenant in your own community, or being like an outsider in your own father's house. Does it make sense? Does that look smart to you? No, because there is this equality that you have to have among the rest, and of which, if government provide housing, what we call government housing, these people that are being found in IDP camp should be there. IDP camp are meant for foreigners who leave their country due to one or two issues that's happening in their country, coming to another man's country to seek for an asylum. That's when you talk about IDP camp, and these are the people who stays in the IDP camp. And that thing is all about this is the issue of agitation, and we see that he normally talk about this issue of agitation. You see, being in some other civil countries and see how protest is being done there, you know that it's hardly that you see a protest, in other civil or Western country. Why so? Because the country is organized. The country carries everyone along. The country doesn't count if you are black, blue or red. They don't count if you are a first class citizen or a second class citizen. Their rule of law is made equal both for the rich and the poor. A country that you see that the rich are also identified with the poor, that they mix up together, that you don't know who is actually rich and who is actually poor. That is the country we are talking about. So that is a same thing that she wants to replicate in Nigeria also. And he also talked about land in Niger State. Many countries depend in agriculture. If you go to country like America, that's the United States, where they have a large farm, and you see they advise for garden. Yes, so people who live in the neighborhood also do their home garden. They will just bring a portion of land within their land there to cultivate one or two things, just vegetable, because they believe in fresh vegetables and fruits. So you see, if a state like Nigeria is bigger than a whole country of Netherlands, and Netherlands are doing well in food exportation, so why can't we, in Nigeria, do so? Enugu can produce, a whole rice. Enugu and Ebonyi can produce rice that the whole Nigeria can feed on. Benue can produce yam that everybody can feed on. Kaduna can still produce tomato, cucumber, and watermelon that anybody can depend on. So why are we slack in agriculture? That's due to the government are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But we all believe that in P2B's administration, this 2027, that he's going to do a lot of things that will be more shocking for the people of Nigeria. Well, don't forget to share your thoughtful opinion in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this our channel. Thank you and God bless.